Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. It's being brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network, the number one podcasting community for podcast professionals. That is BLEAV.com. On today's episode, you have myself, Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, joined alongside my homie.
Mateo, a.k.a. I don't know if you noticed, but I don't fucking shine shoes anymore.
So we are going to be talking about the 30-year anniversary of one of our favorite films of all time. That's right, Goodfellas, turning 30 years young as of this weekend. So you'll be hearing this episode on Wednesday. So, yeah, we're going to talk about some favorite scenes, just kind of like the cultural effect of Goodfellas, all that fun stuff. Matt, do you want to go ahead and start us off?
30 years.
30 years. 30 years.
30 years. That's fucking crazy, man. Goodfellas set the tone for a lot. Okay, so everybody talks about Scarface.
Right.
Right, and that's the movie.
Right.
Okay, so Pacino's a guy from Florida.
No,
right?
he's not. It was actually filmed in California, too.
I believe Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
I believe that shit to this day. And seeing him with these small roles that we discussed earlier, like, he's still Ray Liotta. He's still Jimmy.
Yeah.
You know? From that, you got Joe Pesci, De Niro. I mean, Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul Sorvino. I mean,
Debbie Mazar.
Yeah.
We lift our glasses to Debbie Mazar, and because she's fine, she's always been fine. Like that's she's a different woman.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I don't even know how many acting credits he has to his name, but this is one of the like, I don't want to say first main roles for Samuel L. Jackson, but he was also in this iconic movie, which, just like Matthew said, I think set the precedent for gangster films, plain and simple. I mean, Scorsese just did a fantastic job of bringing this to life. Samuel L. played a small role in the movie. His main character was known as Stax, and he was supposed to get rid of the, from the Lufthansa heist. He was supposed to get rid of the vehicle. He did not. And spoiler alert, he does not.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, he does not meet a good end. So he doesn't make it to the end of the movie. But, we're going to get into, some kind of favorite scenes and characters and just kind of the implications that came across from this masterpiece, to be quite honest with you. And I know that I don't use this term often, but masterpiece of a movie.
Masterpiece of a movie. Agreed. I wouldn't have agreed to sit here and talk to you about it if I didn't agree. Like, it's set the tone. It's the gangster movie of gangster movies.
Yeah.
It was a lot of Scorsese's vision. Little known fact, both of his parents are in it, which is wild to me. I didn't know that. His father, it's how you cut the onions.
Yep. The prison scene.
And I'll be honest, Joe Pesci's just one of my favorite actors of all time.
Yeah.
Stemming from this, he did other shit like The Super.
Yep.
Which was hilarious.
Yep. Home Alone.
Home Alone, which was hilarious. He is that guy.
Yep.
What was it? 8 Heads in the Duffel Bag?
Yep. 8 Heads in the Duffel Bag. Yep.
God, his catalog is so deep, and he's...
And I mean, most recently, too, between him, De Niro, and Pacino, The Irishman.
The Irishman, yeah. Yeah, and De Niro's, that's a whole nother podcast in itself. God, yeah. Like, he's the GOAT. He is my favorite.
Yeah, Jimmy the Gem.
We were talking about Bracco.
Yeah, so we were going to talk about, like, just kind of, like, again, the implications of the show and, like, moving forward. So there are a lot of characters that made it from Goodfellas to Soprano. So Goodfellas came out, again, a year ago, 1990. I believe it was September 21st, something like that. And there are a lot of main characters and side characters, too, from
Wait,
Sopranos.
you said it came out a year ago?
Well, no. As far as like this past weekend was celebrating the 30-year anniversary.
Oh.
So, I mean, one of the main ones that everybody knows from Sopranos is Michael Imperioli. I think that's how you say his name.
Imperioli, Christopher.
So, Christopher Maltasanti, he was Spider. One of the most iconic scenes in the films. I think I do remember owning a movie poster where it's Joe Pesci legit like shooting him. After he was, trying to bring him his drink. Spider, you stuttering, fucking prick, you.
You ain't all right, Spider. You got a lot of fucking problems.
No, I thought you said you were all right, Spider.
I am all right. You ain't all right, you little fucking prick.
I thought I am.
You've been doing this all fucking night to me, you motherfucker.
The wait is finally over and football is back. You might not be at the game this year, but you can still be in on the action at Bet Online. I tell you what, this week my pick is definitely going to be the Rams getting 2 points on the road, wrapping up their East Coast tour. They put it on my Eagles last week, and I got to say, I know they're going to be riding that wave and building that momentum, and getting 2 points against the Bills at home is going to be my pick of the week. So from game spreads and totals to team, player, and coaching props, BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online, and there is always the online casino as well. It never closes. So head to betonline.ag today and take advantage of all the great sign-up bonuses. Again, that's betonline.ag and sign up today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. Then he tells him to go fuck himself, and then he's getting egged on by De Niro and everybody else on there.
Which was the only scripted line in that entire scene.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, so an incredibly iconic scene. And for those of you Soprano fans out there, if you've not seen The Sopranos, first of all, you're missing out on life. Go check it out. There is a scene, I believe it's in season 1, where Christopher actually shoots a guy that's working in the donut shop in the foot. And he's screaming in pain and agony. And as he's walking out the door with his bag of donuts, he goes, "It happens." So that was like, kind of like a tribute to Goodfellas. Yeah, yes, an homage to Goodfellas. Tony Sirico, I believe it is. He was in the movie just briefly in the very beginning, where it's a young Henry Hill is looking out the window at the pizza shop. He comes out. He plays Paulie Walnuts on The Sopranos. Of course, Matthew mentioned Lorraine Bracco. She plays the psychiatrist Jennifer Melfi.
The first Karen.
Yes,
she's Karen.
Yep. And then besides that, the other character that we got from there is, give us 1 second. So Frank Vincent.
Frank Vincent.
You would know him as
he was
he was a shoebox guy in Goodfellas though. Billy Batts. So Frank Vincent was in there as Billy Batts. Another iconic scene. He just gets out of prison. He's just trying to celebrate life a little bit. He starts busting Joe Pesci's balls and tells him to go get his fucking shine box.
Go get your fucking shine box.
So a lot of these, characters from this iconic gangster movie make it onto probably the most, if not, I think it is the most.
The most iconic,
iconic mafia TV show of all time.
I would say so.
So that's kind of like what we got from there. Yeah.
God bless James Gandolfini.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Man. So yeah, Karen was Dr. Melfi, and she has her own winery. Mm-hmm. For those that didn't know and are into wine, go check her shit out. It's actually pretty good. So Goodfellas was 2 hours and 28 minutes. Okay, and if you compare that to other Scorsese films, it's kind of like the shortest one.
Yes. It's like a half-hour episode of most shows.
But it was worth every minute. Mm-hmm. Like, every minute grabs you. It told the complete story.
Agreed.
And I briefly alluded to this earlier. What would you do if you were Ray Liotta?
Yeah, so Matthew asked us this. We went out, had a couple drinks. I'm not going to lie, man. I think I would have done the time. It's just, it's just tough.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah, it's tough to relate to someone like that. I understand.
It's tough to relate to that.
And that's the thing. He's already done time before. What he was getting ready to do time for, it would have been.
But can you see yourself
instrumental,
surrounded in a court of law.
Yeah.
Saying, nah, he did it, he did it.
Yep.
I can't see. That's
exactly.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, don't do that.
Exactly. And I mean, to me, I love one of my favorite lines from him is he was like, when we go on vacation, like we vacation together, he's like, no outsiders ever. And I feel like this is how like our group is, how our podcast is. Like, not saying that we don't like all of you out there. We love you for all the fans listening. Don't get me wrong, but when we do hang out, it's normally just us.
No
like
new
we
friends.
vacation together, and we do that, and that's one thing that I truly value, especially when Paul Sorvino, who played Paul Cicero, after they got out of the pen, he was like, "Listen, you had to do what you had to do in the pen, but at the same time, though, now that you're out, I don't even want to mess around with that shit." Which, of course, he was talking about some blow, which he was dealing in the joint and talking about Henry Hill. And, it was just, it's just very like, if he would have not continued to do that, they would not have gone down this role. So if he would have just listened to Paulie, who was like really the godfather to all of them.
Right.
Like if this was a Godfather movie, Paulie would have been the godfather in it. But the fact that, he ignored what he had to say. Of course, with Tommy and Jimmy, which were played by Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro, went along with it because there was a lot of money to be made at the time. But at the same time, you have to kind of question your morality as far as your friends and family, which at that point, and especially in a movie, that's the same thing.
It's one and the same. It's intertwined. And I tell these guys all the time, like, you're my brother. Like, and there's zero chance that I'm turning in my brother for anything.
Yeah. Agreed.
I don't care what I have to go through. I can handle that shit. Agreed. That's just my take on it. So fuck you, Henry Hill. Ray Liotta, you're cool. Thanks for portraying that for us.
And now that you say Ray Liotta, like this was his breakout role. It was, obviously. A lot of people do not know this. Scorsese actually had to beg and plead for the studio to put him as the main lead on there, because at the time he was a relatively unknown actor and played a great portrayal of Henry Hill. And, on top of that, it was just a solid mafia movie in and out. There's not a boring moment in that movie, to be quite honest with you. Yeah. That's it. I mean, the only time I would say if there is one, it's when he's like Henry Hill paranoid. Again, spoiler alerts. He's looking up.
Go fucking watch Goodfellas if we got to say spoilers. I don't want to say spoilers on this episode. Fucking watch the Goodfellas.
Yeah. If you've not seen Goodfellas, then you are definitely missing out. And especially if you watch Sopranos. But again, I mean, great performances, great characters, and a lot of them went on to do a lot of stuff. I know Matthew mentioned Debbie Mazar. She went on to play in Entourage. She was a publicist to Vincent Chase for many seasons. Again, Samuel L. Jackson playing Stax, Michael Imperioli as Spider, who again went on to play Christopher
Moltisanti with his fine ass girlfriend.
Oh, Drea De Matteo. Big ups to her. So if I got to ask you, besides this, whether TV show or movie, like what's another like mafia style movie that you just thoroughly enjoyed?
Well, I'll tell you that one of my favorites, even though it's like loosely connected, is Casino.
Yeah, 100%.
It's Casino.
100%.
And again, it's De Niro and Pesci.
Yeah.
I feel like this De Niro and Pesci was closer.
Yeah.
Than Casino. And I mean, in the end, it was, the end.
Yeah.
But when he got the call, he's like, I'm sorry, it's done. We didn't have a choice.
Yeah.
He lost it. He lost his friend. He was sad. He was genuinely like, but in Casino, he was like, I saw it coming. Casino also had different elements. Like it had the Sharon Stone character, which nobody wants. Nobody wants the
Jimmy Woods.
A piece of candy. That guy.
Yeah. The
James
fucking
Woods.
The golf course hustler.
Oh, fuck that guy. So I don't want to turn this into a thing about Casino, but Casino is like I had that shit when it was a double tape.
Yep.
You know, VHS. It was 2 VHS. I guess that's my close second. Mafia wise, like I said, everybody talks about Scarface. That's not really mafioso, but
I would probably have to say, as far as like not connected to either one of those two, which are classics. Love Donnie Brasco. Love it. I mean, Pacino, Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp.
You know,
Johnny
true
Depp.
story about an undercover agent that gets just a little bit too deep
close.
into the organization, let's just say. I believe it was on Netflix. I do think it's on HBO now. Either way, definitely check that out. Oh, yeah. And I was watching that on a regular. And you actually had a fun fact about Pacino turning down the role.
Pacino turned down the role as Jimmy,
Yes.
which was
De
De
Niro's
Niro.
role. Yeah, in Goodfellas.
He turned it down to take the role in Dick Tracy. Which, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
he was the best thing
The
about that
highlight
fucking
of
movie.
the whole fucking movie. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's one of those.
I think you'd rather have
that's
that
one.
back.
That's one of those when you think
Yeah.
about like, I should have done that.
And I mean, at the same time, though, I don't think they could have gone wrong with him in there. I do love that it is Robert De Niro.
But De Niro's De Niro. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like you can't take that away from him.
Right.
Right.
100%. I do think Pacino could have done that role justice, don't get me wrong, but that would be about it on a very short list of people that could have played that role. As far as, I know that we had this conversation earlier too, there were other people considered for Henry Hill, and you were talking about like, I think Brad Pitt, or no, I'm sorry, Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was considered for that role.
Tom Cruise for no.
Yeah, and then
How does
Madonna,
that, how does that
Madonna
even,
was
and Madonna for Karen.
for Karen. Yeah,
Tom Cruise and who wants to watch that movie?
right.
I don't want to watch that movie.
Right, right. And this is one of those things where, you know, as you all know, my daughter is in film school, and this is where, as your career goes on, you get a lot of leeway as a director. I do think that if Scorsese was a brand new director, we would have seen a brand new movie that we could probably give two shits about.
Yeah, we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Exactly. So he brought in the people that he thought was well, and he's already had the catalog before that, you know, whether it be Taxi Driver, you know, anything before that, where he did what he thought was right. And to all of us, I mean, to me, this will always go down as the best gangster film of all time.
Yeah, not for nothing. I think Taxi Driver is where De Niro showed his range.
Yeah, 100%.
Because he already had Raging Bull
Yeah.
and all that, which he did with Pesci.
Yep.
You know, and then I think De Niro was the perfect guy for it.
Yeah, agreed, 100%.
Ray Liotta, like if you would have told me, like if I was as woke as I am now, like, and you would have told me Ray Liotta is going to be the star of the show, I was like,
Right.
but no, there's
It was
no
very
other. There's
unexpected.
no other Henry Hill.
Very unexpected.
There's no other Henry.
Agreed.
You know, when he laughed at Karen's mom.
Yeah.
When he came in the door that in the morning,
Yeah.
and she's like, "He's coming in so
Yeah.
early." I was like, "Yeah, he's so late." And he just laughed and walked right back to the car with Joe Pesci. He was like, "Just stay in the car.
Yeah.
Let's go."
Yeah. And at the end of the day, I mean, to us, this isn't just a great gangster film. I mean, I think we hit on it on the head earlier. Like, this is about family. This is about friends. So when Matt asked me earlier, like, what I would do, yeah, I would do the time. Because at the end of the day, you don't have to worry about your wife not seeing her family, not seeing the kids.
Not being taken care of.
You know what I mean? Not being taken care of, because that's the thing, you know, especially back then, you know, mafiosos, they would take care of their own
after.
while they were locked up and after. So it's like, hey, listen, you kept your mouth shut, you did your time,
It's
you
the
know, now
code.
that you're out, there it is. And I mean, that also happened on Sopranos too, where Steve Buscemi's character, I can't remember his name, but they just got done doing, you know, a lot of them got done doing a 20-year bid. And he was trying to live like a normal 9-to-5 life. And Tony was like, he offered him the world and he turned it down. And then finally he got
Until
sick of
he
it. He was
didn't.
like, and then he came back. Exactly. So, you know, it's not just about a mafia movie. It's also about just friends and family and loyalty. And then on top of that,
La
what
Cosa
happens?
Nostra.
Yes.
You see
Yeah.
that, like, but the gangster shit is not. It's like there's mafia shit and there's gangster shit. Because you could talk about like American Gangster.
Right.
You can talk about, God, what like The Town,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like that's family.
Yeah.
You know, and that's more important than anything, is what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying anyway. Like, nah, I'm going down for mine.
Yeah.
And that's-
Agreed.
That's it.
Agreed. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Zero Dark Nerdy. Again, brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network. And of course, make sure you check out Andrew Newman, attorney at law for those of you in North Carolina. He can take care of all your criminal, civil, and traffic court needs. The website is attorneynewman.com. Big shout outs to our folks over at Zibster. That is Zibster for taking care of our amazing website, which is popculturepodcast.com.
It's the easiest shit ever.
Exactly. Popculturepodcast.com. That's
us. We got that.
Exactly. Make sure
up.
you like, subscribe, follow. Be sure to follow us on our trivia nights. We do it the second and fourth Wednesday of every month online on our Facebook page. You got myself doing it live on Sundays at the Speakeasy Tavern. Our boy Jerry Tuesday at Odin Brewery. Wednesday at Stumble Stillskins. And we got more trivia nights coming your way. More events. All that fun stuff. Big shout outs to Four Saints Brewery. We got a nice little trivia surprise coming for y'all. So good old Asborough in the building. And we'll catch you on the next one.
Go get your fucking shine box.
There it is.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
Hey, it's Michelle Beadle. That's right, the Michelle Beadle. You're welcome. You love talking about sports. I love talking about sports. You know the only thing cooler than talking about sports? Sports! And right now, all your favorite sports are on Sirius XM. I'm talking every NFL game, every game from the NBA, NHL, MLB, every NASCAR race, golf major conference college sports, and all the top games in the WNBA. If it gets your heart pumping, it's on Sirius XM. So start your free trial of Sirius XM today. Visit SiriusXM.com/believe.